Okay, so good afternoon. I have to say I sat there in awe, actually, of some of the previous presentations. Jo Malone and what she talked about, Dame Fiona, and of course Terry. I have to say inspiring conversations, inspiring messages, frightening, daunting in a number of ways. But I am actually encouraged by the fact that we actually play in a different space here. And we do play in a different space, and I'll go on to explain why we believe we play in a different space. I also want to make it quite clear what I'm not here to do. What I'm not here to do is to actually sell John Lewis. I'm not here to acquire lots of new customers. I'm simply here to help you understand the journey that we have been on. And the journey is obviously driven by the way our customer portfolio has continued to evolve, because we're not immune from that. So for those, I would ask for hands up, but I can't see because the lights are showing, but I suspect in this audience there are quite a number who don't really understand who John Lewis is. Those in the UK, I hope, do and will shop with us, but a significant proportion won't. So I begin by saying that we're actually a co-owned business. We were established 153 years ago. Again, as Joe said, a market stall, a Mr. John Lewis in Oxford Street with his market stall. That's where it all began. And 153 years ago, we are still trading, and we're trading successfully. Unusually for a department store, we actually trade across the assortments. So in the US, predominantly department stores are about fashion. Here in the UK, we are a third of our trade in fashion, a third of our trade in home, and a third of our trade still in electrical goods. 48 department stores, all UK based, 30 international locations, but B2B arrangements there. 8 countries we trade in. We have 28,000 partners and gross sales of £4.7 billion. All of that sounds a fairly steady, fairly predictable business. But the truth is, and I can speak as somebody who's been with John Lewis now, I'm in my 41st year with John Lewis, so I have seen the journey of John Lewis over the last 41 years, and I can tell you that that journey of change does absolutely continue. If we were sitting in this room 100 years ago, each of you, I have no doubt, would have had your own tailor, your own dressmaker, your own hat maker, your own butcher, your own baker, who would know you as an individual. You would be able to go to that person and they would say, you know, I know you like the pattern fabric. I know you like this suit fabric. I know you like the Italian silks or what have you. They would know you as an individual. But of course, you were restricted to that assortment that was available with that retailer. That's where John Lewis started. What we moved to was actually a mass market. A market which is about the whole world's product being made available to you. And we've heard from Terry, Alibaba, and forgive me, I've forgotten the numbers associated with it, but the number of SKUs that you are carrying across is almost unquantifiable. There have got to be billions and billions of products produced across the globe which are accessible to you as an individual through a smart device, probably through Alibaba in most cases. For a proportion of the population, though, that actually becomes really challenging. I don't want to search through the whole assortment. I want to look at an assortment that is appropriate for me as an individual. I almost want to go back 100 years to somebody who understands me as a person, can actually take that choice of product that's out there and tailor it for me as an individual, and actually allow me then to search through those elements which are right for us. So the next stage that we believe we are in is what we've called mass personalization. Not restricting the assortment to assortment that is simply locally produced, but actually moving to a place where the assortment is tailored to us as a customer. That has meant that we've had to move our model forward. For 135 of those 153 years, we had 25 department stores. Our agenda was not one about growth. We had no aspiration to get bigger for the sake of getting bigger. But what we did see was the customers started to move in a different direction. We did see there was a requirement to start to differentiate, and as a result, we moved from the 25 department stores up to 48 stores, introducing new formats, a home format, as the home environment started to feature more strongly in our customers' minds. We did move into B2B. We have moved, as I say, into 8 countries with 30 locations internationally, but still only a very small percentage of our total sales. Over and above all of that, though, and dwarfing in reality that, was this little thing. Some of you may have heard about it. It's called the internet, and people will go on that and they will buy. And what we did 15 years ago is we actually, as a UK retailer, thought that there might be a trading opportunity here on this internet. Whatever it was the other side of the bubble that was bursting all over. And we actually bought a very small internet business. What we've come to realize, of course, is much as we might have a view of what our customers want, our customers are clear about what they want. And what we've seen is that small business has completely transformed our organization. It's completely transformed it because it has fundamentally changed the relationship we have with our customers. It's changed the way we communicate with our customers. It's required us to look at the way in which we differentiate ourselves from the other retailers that we compete with, both bricks and mortar and the pure players. It's required us to develop new capabilities. Fulfillment is one of those capabilities. Historically, we would deliver a product to a customer and we would drop it off at their front door or we would drop it off in their room of choice. We actually have dozens of services available linked to that, things that we can do with our people that can differentiate ourselves as a retailer from the mass market. We've also had to introduce new returns capabilities, and not just returns, the ability to return, but the speed of that return to enable the customer to spend again. That change has been, for a very well-established business, really, really significant. It has given us challenge, but undoubtedly it's also given us opportunity. The truth is that our customers do continue to evolve. The next generation is proving more demanding. There is a requirement for choice. What we are still seeing, though, is a challenge to the customer, to our customer, from an infinite choice. I don't want to see every refrigerator. I don't want to see every dress. I don't want to see every piece of furniture. I want to see pieces of furniture, dresses, clothing that is appropriate to me as a customer. So we need to focus on our customer, and we do understand our customers very well. We enjoy great loyalty from our customers because we take care to understand who they are, and we take care to edit our assortment to arrange that actually matches our customers' demands and our customer preference. What we can't avoid, though, is some of the shifts, the fundamental shifts that are happening out there. And some of those are around the speed, they are around convenience, and they are also about the ability to change my mind. Once I have begun the transaction, to be able to change the route, to actually alter the flow of the product. So what has that meant for us? In 2005, we took a view that if we were really good at what we did, we could have an internet business that could be trading at in excess of £150 million a year. And some at that stage said, that's incredible. It can't possibly ever get to be that big. Our internet business isn't £150 million a year. It's £1.7 billion a year. It's grown to 41% of our trade is now online. We have successfully navigated from 0 to 41%, and we've done so while still retaining our customer loyalty, and while still being able to deliver a bottom line profit number which allows the business to be sustainable. Because once you have been in a business, I can assure you, for 41 years, and you are part of a business that has been in business for 153 years, you have a very significant focus on ensuring that on your watch, the business is still positioned to exist for another 150 years beyond your time. So we have navigated through that journey. What we have seen in doing so is that others have genuinely struggled to do so. And I would call out, in this case, a lot of the US retailers. So whether you talk about Macy's, Nordstrom's, and others, they have struggled to actually compete against pure players and retain their space. We have not done so. We have identified very early a need to invest and position ourselves for success. And we have, because we're not floated, we're a private company, we have been able to invest significant sums of money to position ourselves to address that need and to transition the business. 41% of our sales, as I say, are online, and that is continuing to grow. That sits against the UK 15.5%. So we are ahead of the market when it comes to total volume. That in itself is a challenge for a business, a well-established bricks and mortar business, transitioning to this omni-channel business. But there's a further challenge, because within that, last year, of the products that we sold, the number of individual units that we sold, we tipped the 50% mark at 50.2% of all the items we sold were no longer taken away by the customer in a carrier bag, but were actually fulfilled to the customer in one or other way. There again, we've had to understand what that creates as far as a challenge to us, but also an opportunity, because within that, again, quite exceptionally, and I believe it's exceptionally, certainly everywhere I go, and I have been all around the globe to understand how the market is developing, of that 50%, 55% of it is actually collected, click and collected from our stores, or indeed our sister brand Waitrose supermarkets, linked in with a changing pattern of food shopping, which sees a move away from the weekly shop to a daily, perhaps every 2-day shop. Customers are now linking that shopping trip with purchases from us. 70% of that click and collect is collected from our food stores. So, of course, we've developed a means of not only satisfying the customer need, but also bringing those customers back into our stores, and again, as they come into the stores, linking into what we are creating, an ecosystem which satisfies the customer's need for convenience, for assortment, for edited, and of course, the ability to transact with us with confidence. Over and above that, and here are the audience members from the US, I should just pause to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the opportunity you provided us to import Black Friday to the UK. And I have to say, I look at with great anticipation at the prospect of Singles Day when that materializes in the UK at some stage. But what it does mean for us is that over and above that shift, and it is a very significant shift, we are moving to a world, and we have moved to a world in truth, which is much more prone to really significant peaks in activity. So we've had to transition not only with the shift in pattern, but we have also had to position ourselves to deal with these peaks, because our customers are very clear. They want consistency of service from us. They are not actually hugely concerned how busy we are, how big Black Friday is, how big Christmas is, how big our sale is in the post-Christmas period. They expect to be able to click and collect today, to purchase today and click and collect tomorrow, consistently through the year. We achieve that, and we absolutely achieve it really consistently year in, year out. And the reason we've done so is because we've invested very heavily in our supply chain. In the last 5 years, we've invested £528 million in new technologies, new automated distribution centres, again, back to the Rolt GS1, the consistency of presentation into us, the definition of standards, global standards for the flow of stock into our DCs and through our DCs. We've invested in order to enable ourselves to succeed in what is an incredibly challenging retail market. The investment is significant for John Lewis. It undoubtedly, as once you invest it, features in our cost going forward through depreciation. But without that, you cannot satisfy the customer need, and without that, we would not have been able to transition from 0, 15 years ago, online sales, up to 41%, and we know that 41% will move to 50% by 2020. Without the investment, it simply would not have been possible. As I say, the standards here are incredible. When you invest in that automation, what becomes really clear is that it provides you with a huge opportunity. And again, back to Dame Fiona's reference to skills. What becomes really clear is that you are creating something new. You are creating something which is filled with automation, lots of Meccano kit, lots of steel work, cabling, computer systems, and so on. But what you're also doing is creating a new ecosystem which requires skills, capability that historically has not been available to us. So what we've also been doing is creating this capability. We now do have skill sets and capability which is marketable. We can and we do actually support the development of technologies elsewhere. We work very closely with our MHE suppliers to create new mechanisms, new functionality, because we have those skills and competencies. So it's not all about challenge. It is about ensuring that you create from that capability and opportunities for individuals and our partners as co-owners in this business to develop and move their skill set forward. GS1 standards, though, feature throughout in the barcode space, but also in the RFID. And just to prove that that's the case, a 20-second video which just shows them in use in some of our automated packing. The ability to track that product both into us and through our operations and out of our operations at a rate of 6 cartons every second at peak throughout the full 24 hours is business critical. Without those standards, we could not operate, and without those standards, we certainly could not successfully interface with the service providers that we work with. Moving beyond the barcode and into RFID, it must be a good 20 years, 25 years ago since I first had the conversations around RFID. It's not all brand new technology, but what we see is new opportunity that comes with it. Historically, RFID would provide you with an opportunity to drive availability on the selling floor. It would provide you with an ability to actually reduce stock loss with the arches over the exits to ring when I was going to say a customer, but a thief goes to take the stock out of your store. And what you did was a calculation to understand the benefits of that versus the cost. What we now have in this new world is further opportunities that we can apply to the equation. We see a growing importance in working capital, in the control of our absolute stock levels, but we also see the ability to use, through the accuracy that RFID provides, to use that stock to fulfill our orders online when there is a slowing of the sale through the physical estate. And as a result, we are seeing really significant opportunities in stock exits and improvements in our operating margins. So even where you do have technologies that you think you understand, as the world moves on, and it certainly has moved on in our case, it creates new opportunities for us to think very differently about the way in which we operate, some of which do provide you with an opportunity to go back again to your base understanding and challenge yourself and your organization as to whether an opportunity now exists that historically hasn't. So as we move forward, the truth is, as we sit here, none of us know what the next 50 years is going to look like. We heard tomorrow is likely to be more challenging, and I think that's probably true. I'm not convinced the day after is going to be brilliant, but we'll see. But the fact is, none of us know exactly what is going to happen in 10 years' time, let alone 20 years' time. That's the really exciting part for me, understanding where you are and then looking at the options to transition from where you are to where you need to be. What we believe, though, is that this internet thing, this interweb of things, is probably here to stay. It is probably going to grow as a percentage of our sales. And we are planning and we are defining our business strategy to take account of that. We also, though, do know that in successfully transition to 41% of our sales online, there are a number of ingredients that have contributed to that. We have undoubtedly invested very significant sums in our website, our ATG platforms with Oracle. Anybody from Oracle in the room? We've spent a lot of money with you to get that right. We've also spent a lot of money with Google, with marketing, to ensure we get that right. We've invested very heavily in our teams to ensure that we have the right system teams available, the capability within our operation. All of that would, and within the supply chain, I've already talked about £500 million worth of investment. Those four elements would have given us a credible online platform. We would have been trading online, and we would have been trading reasonably successfully online. The missing ingredient, though, for us in that mix is the relationship we have with our customer. And that draws me into the role of our shops. We have 48 department stores, which I have responsibility for. And one can easily get into the space of saying, actually, if it's moving online, there is no role for these branches. But to say that presumes that your business will continue to be as successful as it is today without having that relationship with the customer. So what we do see is our department stores will move from a position where their performance is measured through the transactions and their sales, but we will measure their performance and their role through the relationships they support as part of the broader trading proposition that we offer. That will be the focus for us. And within that, looking again at the CRM data, and there is a mass. Most organizations have got a huge volume of customer data. The real challenge is how do you use that data effectively? We are focusing our attention on ensuring we do use that data to effect, that we understand our customers, and we continue to develop our proposition in a way that is appropriate for our customer base. Separately, we think of our bricks and mortar branches as bricks and mortar branches, an opportunity to link in with the customer. Why are we satisfied that when a customer exits through the door of our shops, that should be the end of that relationship. So we will extend that relationship from the physical space, and we will extend it through a link of human and digital, through providing our assistants with an ability to continue that dialogue with the customer once they have physically left our stores. This is about long-term relationship. It's not about whether a transaction happens then and there in the store. I'm back again, and I am a user of a lot of this internet, whether it is Amazon. I haven't been a big user of Alibaba, I have to say. I look forward to it when the opportunity comes. But like everybody else, I buy a proportion of my purchases are made online. We are not looking to compete with the pure players. What we are looking to do is differentiate through that editing of our assortment by tailoring what we do to our customers that we know and we understand. What we're trying to do is deliver quality and differentiation through that edited assortment. And above all, what we're really looking to do in the world where everything is accessible to you is to have a proposition and a service proposition that's wrapped around the assortment that really makes it easy for our customers to shop with us. That gets us to a point when actually your first port of call, if you're in that space, will be John Lewis. Thank you very much.